Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Rich, and I'm from Herefordshire Means Business. Welcome to our online networking event, business networking event. We've been going nearly 12 months now. Can you believe it? We're all coming around to anniversaries and things since we all changed our situation. With me today, I have from the HMBiz team, I've got Kerry. Give us a wave, Kerry. And
hello.
And somewhere, I don't know where he's gone, we've also got Richard. We have been running these events, like I said, coming up 12 months. We usually run events face-to-face in the public. Hopefully, by the end of the year, we may be able to get back to doing what we love doing the most, and that's meeting people and getting out and running events and connecting people. We will be continuing running these events on the second Wednesday of the month as well. So how this event runs is we have a guest speaker, and the guest speaker has a topic and they can talk away about their topic. After that, we then have a Q&A section where if you've got any questions you want to ask, then please do. And then after that, if there's time at the end, if there's anyone who has anything to share as far as events coming up or things that they want to share, if we've got time, then if you put a cue or a hand up, then hopefully I'll come to you to share what you've got to share with us. Our ethos is to connect and support local businesses, and it's good to see some new faces, and obviously it's good to see returning faces. And Bev has come back again for more, because she was one of our first speakers back last year, and she mentioned the topic that she's going to talk about today back then, and so she's back for more, and she's going to talk to us today about what's your why. So Bev, I'm going to make you host. Now, it says on your LinkedIn that you are award-winning business mentor, and you help through anxieties and struggles of life and supporting people as a business mentor. So if I make you host, and then what I'll do, I'll put everyone else on mute just to stop any background noise. So let's see if this works. Okay, so obviously this is a connecting event. So if you want to put links to your business or your LinkedIn links into the chat, please do so. What we'll do after the event is we'll send a recording out to you. It'll also go on our YouTube channel, but the chat, I also send out a copy of the chat to everyone that's attending the meeting today. So you'll have everyone else's details from the chat afterwards, and any links and things that Bev's got to share with us as well will all be in there. Okay, Bev, over to you.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I've got a few slides, there seemed to be a lot more when I was writing them yesterday, so I will share the slides, but they're not onerous, so we're not going to be here all afternoon. So let's see if we can get them up. Right. Rich, I can see you. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see the slides? Brilliant. Thank you. So as Rich says, I'm here today to talk to you about why knowing your why matters when you're in business. So just a little bit of an introduction. Again, as Rich said, my name is Beverley Jones, Bev, usually. I'm an author, a speaker, and an award-winning kind of well-being mentor consultant. My journey is a little bit around, just to share with those who don't know me before, I've started my business in 2010 based on the fact that I burnt out big time from a corporate career. So I had 30 years in corporate, ended up literally at the doctor's, who was like, you've got 2 weeks left before I hospitalize you, so you need to stop work now. Basically, that was a Friday. On the Monday, I came out sick and had to take a year off, basically because I was burnt out. I was diagnosed with clinical depression, severe anxiety, and couldn't really function at all. So in that year, I had to renovate my property, but I also had to redecide what I wanted to do. And I decided that I wasn't going to go and work for an employer anymore. I needed to do something for myself. So hence I started the business in 2010. And from that, then I do a lot of writing. I wrote a book which was published around my journey around depression. You can get that either on my website or Amazon, which tells my journey through burnout and through my mental health issues at the time, and how I turned that journey around to basically start the business, sell my flat, move on to a different life. And that's the life that I very much have today. We are in the process of writing a second book. So hopefully that one should be out. I'd say the end of the year, but that probably won't happen because it just takes me a while to get them out. So that's what I do today. I help people through, as Richard said as well, mental health and anxieties, whether that's in the corporate world through wellbeing programs, or as a business owner through my Awaken Business Club. So very much not just help with the practical steps of running a business, but help with the mental health side as well. So the sleepless nights, the anxieties, and all of that stuff. So I want to start with this thought. Now, many of you might know this quote, but it meant a lot to me many years ago, and I still share it today. It's by Mark Twain, and he said, "The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why." And that for me happened when I went through my burnout. I discovered my why. I discovered that I needed to be helping people in some way. And as time has progressed, I've discovered that my why is actually helping people not go where I went. And that is the very reason why I do what I do today. When I came out of my corporate job, I had, as I said, burnout. I don't want anyone to go there. It wasn't a nice journey. It wasn't great. And I will do anything in my power, really, to help people not go there. But then when I was starting my business, I really, I was trying to deal with my mental health, obviously, but I also had all the other stuff going on, like learning how to do social media, how to do marketing, how, all the things that come with business, and mostly how to get clients, because that's really important for all of us, isn't it? So that was kind of why I thought, as I've gone on through time and my business has grown, that the reason behind why I do the business club is to make sure that people's stresses and strains in the early days, or when they're growing their business, there's someone to talk to, there's somebody to relate to. I've been there, I've done it, and I want to make sure that I can help people. So that's my why. So why is your why so important? Well, as I said, I'm celebrating 10 years in business as a business owner, and it made me think about my why, that quote. I discovered one thing, and I had to learn fast when I started my business, because even though I'd been in corporate for 30 years, I had to work out what I knew about business and what I didn't. Now, I had a fairly good footing because I'd worked in marketing, I'd worked in budgeting, I'd run teams of 200, I had operational duties, customer service, training. So I had a really good background, but I didn't know the basics of being in business on my own. So as I said, social media. But this was one of the things that I really had to learn. Now, I know you had Adam on, I believe, last month, Rich, and he was doing the sales bit. So this isn't a sales book, okay? But it's to kind of just give you an example that I had to learn fast with sales and selling. Because without sales and selling, we have no business, we have no profit, we have no turnover, we have no money coming in, we have no wages. So this is the one thing I always say, start off with people when we're starting, in the groups and everything, is that you must try and learn about sales and selling. Now, underlying that and underpinning that for me was this. Sales can be a huge sticking point. It's really hard for people to sell. I will put money on most people not knowing their own true value. We don't know our value. We may know our value within our own family. We might know our value to our friends, but we don't know what our value is to the outside world. But what finding your why will help you do is it will help you become unstuck. It will help you discover, it will help you discover what it is about selling that may be holding you back. Because finding your why could be the one thing that helps drive those sales forward. So discovering your why, you need to think about these things. Firstly, what is at the core of your business? Why did you start your business? What is at the very, very core of it? Whether it be websites, whether it be sales themselves, sorry, my light's just gone off. Whether it be sales themselves. Sorry, I've got these sensors on my lights that they go off and I don't move, so apologies for that. What is at the core of it? Whether you're an NLP practitioner, whether you're a marketeer, it doesn't matter what it is. You need to know what is at the core of your business. What is the very reason it exists? There's a YouTube clip that I'm going to give you a link to at the end of this, and many of you may have seen it, the Simon Sinek's one. And he said, you know, running a business, being in business, is less about making money and discovering what is the reason it exists. Why did you start it? What was behind that? Sure, you didn't wake up one morning and think, oh, I don't know, I'll just go into business because I'll start doing websites because I can do that. It's not about that. It's not about building websites. It's about why you build those websites. Why do you do it? What is the reason behind the existence of your business? What are you passionate about? Are you passionate about that business? Do you absolutely 100% love it? Do you get up in the morning and think, yes, I'm going to work on my business. Yes, I've got these plans for the day. Or do you think, oh, is it only Wednesday? I've got to get to the weekend. You need to be passionate about it, because in being passionate about it makes it easier to run the business and makes it easier to make sales.
Oh, fun.
Sorry. Yeah, so basically it's about having somebody in your business that is passionate about it. Now, I'm sure we all do love our business, but getting that message out to your audience is what you actually need to do, whether that's through writing, whether it's through doing your sales, whether it's through your marketing. It needs to show and to shine through. And what results do you want for others? It's not always about what the results you want for you. It's about what the results you want for others. What do you want other people to get out of working with you? As I've said, my aim is to stop people or help people, not stop people because sometimes you can't, but I can help people not go where I went. I can help people not feel the stresses and strains, maybe being in the corporate world or starting up a business. I want them to feel better about it. I want them to feel passionate about it. So those are the results that I actually want for others. And that's what you need to be asking yourself when you're actually out there doing sales. Selling the results will be easier than actually selling the service or product. Sell the results. Think about your why. Why are you doing it? What are you passionate about? Why does it exist? What is at the core of it? And then what results do you want for others? Because that basically will sum up your why. That's it. That's ultimately what gives you your why. All right. So just take a note of those 4 questions, and say Richard's recording this anyways if you want to go back to them. But they will give you your why. They will help you to understand why you're in business and what you are doing, what you're doing. If you're not comfortable with your why, if it's something that you think, oh, I don't know, I'm not really sure about my why, then really go back to those questions, okay, and change it. Change it. Change what you're doing. Change how you're doing it. Change how you feel about it. I get up every morning and there's a sign on my wardrobe door and it says, make today so awesome that yesterday gets jealous. That's what we should be doing every day. We should be loving what we do. We should be passionate about it. And if we're not, it means that we're not comfortable with our why. We're not sure about why we're doing what we're doing. So that's when we need to actually come along and think, oh, maybe I need to change it. Maybe I need to rethink it a little bit. As I've said, go back and reevaluate the questions. Think about the answers. Think about, I mean, I don't know how long people have been in business on here. Obviously, mine's been 10 years. But is your business the same as when you started? Have you ever gone back and thought, well, actually, I need to change my brand. I need to look at something. I need to be different. And in this world where we are today, we're all different. We've all changed a lot in the last year. I think there are things that have happened that has made us maybe rethink what we're doing and how we're doing it. A lot of things have gone online, you know, as Herefordshire Means Business. We've had to go into online meetings where we haven't necessarily done that before. So go back and reevaluate your business and reevaluate your answers to those questions. Since I discovered my why, it has actually resulted in the easiest sales I've ever made. Selling is easy now. Selling is, and I'm not saying that because I'm all about the money. I'm not. All about having a much simpler life. I'm very blessed in the life that I have today, and my life is very simple. But obviously I need to survive. I need to pay my bills. I need to do all of that stuff. So in that respect, I need sales, and sales have been easy ever since I found my why. I've discovered that people are interested in why I do what I do. People are interested in my story and why it came about and how it came about. People are interested in knowing what I can do and provide the results that I can provide for them. People always want to know, you know, for instance, what, you know, my expectations from being in my business are, and what I can do to help them. So it's all these things that have come together and basically made the easiest sales I make today. And I know that each and every person here can do exactly the same thing. You might already be sitting there thinking, oh God, I know all this. You know, I know that this stuff. And I hope you do. And I hope that you do make easy sales. But if you don't, then this is the time to go back and start to think about your why, and why maybe you are struggling. Why are your sales not where they want to be? Why is all this happening for you? And just reevaluate that stuff. And this is why I do it. I love it with a passion. I don't want, as I said, anybody to go where I went. I would challenge all of you today to go away and think about, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Okay, because it will make a difference. It will make a difference. People will say to you, do you know what, actually, I love working with you because you've got great integrity. You know why you're doing what you're doing. You've really helped me get results. Because that's what it's all about, is the results for others. So whether I'm helping large corporates with the well-being of their teams, and I do that through programs, through mentorship, through one-to-ones, whatever that is, whether it's assisting small businesses to set up and grow their business with less stress. If they are stressed, then I help with that too, because I help with all the anxiety side of it. Whether it's running events, whether that be networking or mind, body, spirit shows or webinars, whether it's writing or speaking, I write for the local press. I've written books, which are, you know, on my website. I write regular blogs for myself and other people. Whether I'm speaking at events, whatever it is, I want to be able to assist one person in that audience to leave with something from the talk or from the programs or from my writing that makes them think a little bit more, makes them think, yeah, I get that. Because hopefully through that, people won't go where I went. People won't struggle with the anxieties of maybe going through burnout. And there's a lot of burnout today. There's a lot of burnout, even though we haven't been in the offices for the last year. There's a lot of burnout happening because people are having to work from home all the time. There's a lot of burnout in small businesses because small business owners, a lot of people are struggling. And that can all lead to what we term as burnout, because burnout comes through in mental health. Okay, so that's why I can help anyone, and that's exactly what I do. So my why remains the same. If you want your sales to do this, it's very quick, you know, as I said, Adam's already talked about sales, but I want you to think about this. The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you will find out why. I found my why many years ago. I think if we can all sit down and just say, why am I doing what I'm doing? What am I passionate about? What do I love doing? What do I want to get? What results do I want to get for other people? Why do I want to help other people with that? Then I think you will make a massive, massive difference to both you to your sales, to your business, and to what you get up to do every single day. This is the video I was telling you about. I can send that link through to Rich, or you can just take a photograph of it now. It's a great video. It's around starting with your why, and why, if you start with your why, things become a lot easier. So just take a note of that. It's about 20 minutes long. So just take your time out over a cup of tea or something, and have a little look at that. And that really is me. It was a quick fly-through version, Rich, of you know, what is your why? Because there isn't a great deal that, you know, you can say other than what I've said. These are the ways you can get hold of me. I will put a little thing in the chat around the Awaken Business Club. I've got an Awaken Business Club on Facebook, which is over 300 members on there, and I tend to connect people through that. So if you want to join that club, then that's free. Obviously, because it's just Facebook for you to join, and then you'll find out about all the other events that I'm doing as well around that. Is that all right, Rich? Do you want to?
Brilliant. No, that's great. Thank you. Can you just make me the host again, and then I can...
Yeah, I'll stop the share, make you the host. It's already technical, this, so I'm a bit... Try that.
Isn't it? Okay. So have you got any questions or any comments for Bev? I've got a question, if I may start. So can your why in business, can it change? And if it does, do you start the whole process again?
It can change. When I started out, I was just doing one-to-one coaching, and I didn't really talk about my mental health. I didn't talk about the burnout. I didn't talk about all the stuff that went with it. And because that was 10 years ago, so it was a bit embarrassing. I felt a bit of a failure. I felt a bit rubbish when it all started. So when that was all happening, I didn't have the same why that I did today. I knew I wanted to help people, but I didn't want to be so publicly out with it, if that makes sense. Okay. So in the beginning, it was literally around me just starting up a business and doing some life coaching and helping people do what I do. So over time, yes, it has changed. And yes, I'm more vocal about it. If you find that you're in business and you start out with a why, and then after a couple of years, you digress, which is what happened to me. So I started from one-to-ones, going into the corporate world, going back into the corporate world, starting the business club because I won Business Wales Mentor of the Year in 2017. So that all started. I then started to realize what my why was and what I actually wanted to do. In essence, I think it was there at the beginning. I just wasn't quite so clear on it until I started. People were asking me, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? And then it clicked. This is why I do, which is to help people not go where I went. So yeah, it can change and it can grow and it can develop over time, but you always really need at the root of it your why, I think.
Right, that's really interesting. Yeah, I think a lot of people, they either start a job or they start a business and they don't really think about exactly why they want to do it. I think it's for some people, I think for myself especially, I didn't realize the why until quite a long time into the business. So
that's it.
Really interesting to think about. Has anyone else got any?
I've got something, if that's okay. It's not a question. It was quite strange how you're saying about this, because I've actually got the Start With Why book by
Brilliant.
Simon Sinek. This was a concept that was kind of brought to me by a colleague of mine recently. And I'll be honest, to start with, I thought, start with why? What is this guy talking about? It makes no sense. But once you kind of adapt it and you let it sink in, you get used to it, it's literally changed the way that I work. This book has been, it's kind of like my Bible now. It is just so good. And then also, I don't know if you mentioned it, but have you listened to any of the TED Talk sessions? They're also really good for stuff like this as well.
Yeah.
Again, I've listened to lots of those, really inspiring, really good ideas there. And it's helped me grow as an individual and also grow like in the way that I do business with other people. But yeah, this book is amazing. It is.
It is.
So,
So yeah, get the book, watch the video, and it starts to make sense, doesn't it, Tom? You know,
it does,
it's
yeah.
why we even exist, you know, why do we exist really? But why do starting our business, we have to really have a purpose. And I'm sure, you know, like Rich said, most of us started the business because for me, it was coming out of corporate and and I never wanted to go back and work in that industry, in that environment again. For other people, it might just be the redundancy or whatever. But whatever or however you start, get back to your why and get a copy of that book, because yeah, I've read it. It's a good book.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Anyone else got something to share? Yes,
Beth. Yeah.
Hello, Bev.
Hi. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Coming at it from a well-being point of view, I mean, I work for a complementary therapy centre, so obviously I have a huge passion for how complementary therapies can support your emotional, physical and mental well-being. How do we encourage more people in the workplace to take preventative measures, re their mental, physical and emotional health through something like complementary therapies, rather than waiting until it's almost too late?
Too late.
I mean, how do we share that message? How do we, I don't know, encourage more people to seek, you know, other ways of maintaining, I suppose, and preventing ill health?
I mean, that's a whole nother talk, Rich. That's another talk around self-care. Because if I'd have practiced self-care when I was in the corporate world, then I wouldn't have probably ended up where I did, or I certainly wouldn't have ended up being on the journey I did for as long as I did. So today I work very actively with a lot of big corporate industries, trying to get through to them that you must look after the well-being of your teams. Again, why is it important? Ask yourself that question, and maybe when you're going out to share your complementary therapies, why is it important to look after your self-care? Why is it important to use complementary therapies? Why is it important to look after our mental health? Now, from experience, I can tell each and every one of you, if you don't do any of that, your physical body will shut down, and your physical body will go, that is it, that's enough, and I ain't doing any more, and you can do what you like. But, you know, so if you keep chasing your thoughts, if your thought patterns keep going, all of that stuff, and you don't tap into the complementary stuff, or you don't tap into the self-care, that's when things go wrong. So the reason behind your complementary therapies is not that you're selling or you're part of that, or your centre is it's not what it provides, it's why you provide it. And that's the message that you have to get out to businesses. That's the message you need to get out to everybody you speak to. I work in a complementary therapy centre, and the reason is why you do it. And you do it, I assume, because you want help to get people to know the importance of self-care. So it's not selling the self-care, it's the reason why you need self-care. Does that make sense?
Thank you, Bev. Yes. I mean, I do try and share that message, but yeah, I suppose it's a drip feed as well, isn't it? You know,
it is a drip feed, and it's the last thing that quite a lot of companies will spend money on. You know, they have their budgets, but the last thing they want to spend it on is well-being, because they don't see it. You know, people come to work, they do their work, they go home again. They don't actually see that they need to be practicing and putting in well-being and self-care procedures for staff. Everyone needs some time out. Your brain, if you run a car 24/7 for 365 days of the year, then you will wear that car out. Whether it's a new car or not, it will wear out, it will burn out. And that is what happens to our brains, it's what happens to us as people. We literally end up chasing, running around, we go to bed, we have the TV on in our room, our brain is connected to that blue noise. You might think you're sleeping, you're not sleeping, your brain is still active. If your phone is by your bed, your brain is still picking up vibes from that phone. All these things matter, and that is why we shouldn't do it, and why we should practice self-care, to stop the burnout. Sorry, I'm completely off that why. Why is it important? Sorry, guys. But yeah, all of you, please, that's my why, is to help you to understand that. So yeah. So, but it's the same with anything.
I just want to say that, Beverley, you might have been talking about my life.
Oh, really?
So many things that you said, and even some of the phrases you've used are so familiar to me. And I just want to challenge you, actually, if I may, on whether your why can change, because I think your why has probably always been to help people. But at that moment, when you were in that crisis point of having just left and just beginning your business, you were still in the shock of the whole thing, and there were other things that were playing out. But at your core, it was about helping people so they didn't have a similar experience. And so I actually think you're at the heart of it. The fundamental of your purpose is always going to be the same, because it is a reflection of who you are as a person. But the expression of that why, the expression of your purpose, I think can absolutely change. So some people
I think you're right.
might be doing what Beth does in terms of, this complementary therapy centre. For another person, it might be business coaching, sales coaching. Another, it might be running a retreat centre, or it might be being an engineer, whatever. It doesn't matter. Your expression of your purpose is one thing, and that can change. But yeah, sorry, I've gone a bit into depth there, but no,
it's fine. No, I totally agree. It's as I said, when Rich asked me, I think my why was always there. It was that at that time I didn't want to tell people. I didn't want to say my why was to stop people going where I went, because I didn't want people to know where I'd been, because I felt failure, I felt rubbish, I felt all of those things. Whereas now I'm absolutely open about it, and that is why I do what I do. And you're right, ever since I was a child, or ever since I was grown up, my why has always been to help people. Anyone that knows me, which has known me quite a long time, Kim and Kerry, anybody that knows me will know that I will do what I can to help people. The first thing I did the day before COVID, actually lockdown was announced, was put a letter through all my neighbours' doors, because I worked out or realised majority of them were over 70 and wouldn't be allowed out. And so I put a note through their door saying, if this happens tomorrow, then I will, I will do your shopping, I will help you. And I ended up helping 10 households during the first lockdown do their shopping and go to the chemist and all that, because that's what I naturally do. So you're right, Kim, I'm naturally a helper. I want to help, but getting that message out, it wasn't until I found my why, until I had the conversation about my why and read the book and saw the video, that I understood that I had to be open about that why, which is exactly what you were saying. So thank you for that.
That's great, thank you. Yeah, Mark.
Thanks, Rich. Hi, Bev.
Hi.
Hiya. Quite a difficult question, I suppose. Mental health, well-being, etc. It's hard to put a value, a monetary value against it. Louise Stevenson, many of you I think on here will know that she created a app, Worry Tree, based upon her own experiences, and has issued it out there for free, but it doesn't run itself. It costs money. And I suppose an insensitive question it can sound, but how do you balance the charging of mental health and well-being services, and put a cost to it, put a charge to it? Yeah.
It is a difficult one, because it is something that I would give away. If I won the lottery, I think I'd still give it away free, because I really want to help people not go there. So with services, I think you've got to kind of say to yourself, well, I do what I do, but I still have to live. I still, I have a very simple life. I don't think I overcharge. I tend to keep my charges fairly reasonable. Everything I do is reasonable. I always say to people it's within a budget. One of the things that quite a lot of people I have known in the industry do is to say to people, obviously there is a charge. However, to ask them, instead of charging a fixed price, to make a donation of what they can afford, what they feel the value of the service is to them. So that can sometimes be a way of doing it. You can say, okay, because some people, I know somebody that's done it, and some people have paid a £5 and other people have paid £50. Depending where they are on that spectrum. So that is one way of doing it, is to say, you have access to this app for a donation, please pay whatever it is you feel that you can afford. I just want to help you, or whatever it is. And you will start maybe to get people coming in, and, every £5 adds up, doesn't it? So, if you need 100 people to look at it and you've got £500, equally, somebody might pay you 25, or, does that make sense, Mark? Is that? helpful at all?
Yeah, totally. There's some other apps that actually do donational based rather than a regular charge.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting one, and it's a brave one to do as well, because you can't forecast what you expect to come in.
Exactly.
You know, and you need to do developments, etc., and advertising, all the rest of it to keep it going. So
the other thing, go on, sorry.
No, please, Beth.
The other thing that I did when I first kind of started out and felt that people didn't really know I wasn't, and I was trying to get clients in, this is like 10 years ago. One of the things I did was I set up a process of like you could have a discovery session with me, which was £25 for 20 minutes or £25 for half an hour, wasn't it? But then if you then went to the next level, which is to take on some one-to-one coaching, or you wanted to do something further, you would get that £25 discounted off the next price. Do you see what I'm saying? So you could like pay for, I don't know, say 2 months of the app for £20. If you want it for a year, you will get that £20 taken off. I'll give you a discount for the year. So instead of £120, I'll give you £100 and you'll get that £20 off. You then get £80 for the year. Do you see? So I don't know the prices, you could work that out, but you could do something like that. So you could actually offer it out, or £10 on a tester thing. And if people then, they love it, which I'm sure they will love it. You can then reduce the next price by that £10.
Yeah, good point. Thank you, Bev.
Right.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark. Anyone else got any questions, comments? I've got one more question. You mentioned your book. If you can link to that afterwards, that would be brilliant. But have you got a favourite book, business-wise, that has helped you through the years?
It's strange. I've got various books, basically, because as I think it was Kim was saying, and obviously we had Tom was saying about that book, through the years you read different books and you pick up different messages from different books at different times when you need them. So the first book that I read, which helped really change my life and to me realize that it was a lot about thought patterns, was a book called Love Life, Live Life by Sue Stone. All right, so that was one of the ones I read. I'm quite a lot around mindset, obviously. So there's the one that Tom has mentioned with the why, start with your why. And then more recently, I know that you know, and you've met Crosley. He wrote a book called Ask Me Another, and I've read that, and that one really helped me get my mind, you know, because you dip in and out. So for years I live this stuff, breathe this stuff, and then every now and again you think, I just need to read that book. So there's quite a lot of books that I will pick up and read, but they're the three. I mean, Tell Me Another was the most recent. Sue Stone's was the one I read in the beginning. Tom's already recommended that one, but I'm a great book lover. I don't use Kindle. I stay away from my screen as much as I possibly can. So when it comes to books, I love the old hardback paper copy, the one like Tom had. Put it on your desk and pick it up and read it, you know, and that sort of thing. But I've literally in front of me, I've got a bookcase full of books. I'm a book lover, so that's kind of where I'm at with books.
Great. Yeah, Richard.
Yeah, I just want to mention one book that I think is fabulous. And one of the things I find intriguing is that we have bookcases full of books that we probably dip in and out of, and we get all this different information. But unless we actually focus and knuckle down to it, we tend to sort of, you know, schizophrenically move on to the next thing. This book, I don't know if you can see that, it's called The One Thing.
No, it's kind of gone into your background a bit.
Okay, I'll put it in the link. It's called The One Thing by Gary Keller. It's a #1 bestseller, New York Times bestseller list. And it basically, in simple terms, it takes your to-do lists and it breaks it down to what you have to get done. And it's a brilliant book, and I thoroughly recommend it to everyone.
Okay.
I'll put it in the chat for you.
Brilliant.
Okay, thank you. thanks very much, Bev. We're
That's
going to
okay.
move on a little bit, but you mentioned your Facebook group.
Yeah, I'll pop the link in the, in the chat.
Pop a link in there. And also, if people haven't already joined our Facebook group, please do join that. I'll put a link in the chat as well to our Facebook group. Obviously, it's Herefordshire based, so if you're wanting to connect with Herefordshire businesses, then we've got, I can't remember how many we've got in there now, but yeah, do join the group. It's again free of charge to connect with other Herefordshire businesses. So we've got a little bit of time left. Has anyone got any events or things coming up that they want to share? I know Tom certainly has. We'll start with you, Tom.
Yeah, I've got, hi guys, this is my first kind of virtual networking event with you all. It's nice to virtually meet everyone. I work for a company called Read in Partnership. We're based in Hereford. We are a government-funded provision that helps people with barriers find employment. Tying in quite nicely to Bev's talk, why I took this job is also to help people. You know, we work with people who, like I say, face different barriers finding employment. So the announcement that I've got is we are holding our first virtual jobs fair on the 24th of this month, where our active caseload of job seekers, or participants as we call them, which is just over 300. It gives them a good opportunity to engage with local employers. We've got a really good amount of local employers already involved. So we've already got companies like EZEC, Allpay, Capel Security, Countrywide Ground Maintenance, Avara Foods, M&M, Riverside Training are getting involved as well, because they deal with all the apprenticeships in the area. So yeah, if any of you guys are looking to recruit ready for when we can all get back to some kind of normality, then drop me a line. You know, we're a free service. You know, we have a dedicated health and wellbeing advisor on site at all times. We've got a dedicated skills trainer. We've got the recruitment manager, who is me, and then we've got employment advisors. So yeah, it's a really good service and a really good provision that has exceeded all DWP targets set to us so far. So it'd be great to try and help more local businesses out in finding the right people for them. So yeah, please do get in touch, because it'd be great to have a conversation with you about how I can potentially help you. Cheers, Rich.
Okay, brilliant. What was the date again? Sorry.
24th of March.
Okay.
24th of March, but the way it's going, it may be a 2-day event, because we've got quite a few other employers that are keen to get involved as well, just because of that added social benefit that we offer.
Oh, great.
I have got an event, which is a social media event. If as a business club mentor network, I often run events with other people. I've got an event starting on the 22nd of March. It's the first Monday. It's for 2 Mondays, and then a break free for another 2 Mondays, 9 o'clock in the morning for an hour each. And it's all around spring into social media. So if you need help with your social media content strategies, looking at Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of that stuff, then it's £25 for the 4 weeks, so the 4 hours basically. It's £25, and we're just missing out Easter. So again, if you hop onto my Facebook page, you will be able to find the link to that at the top of the page to join it. Or if you want to ask Rich, I can send you the link through for the tickets.
Oh, that sounds good. Are they being recorded, those?
Yeah, if you buy a ticket and you can't make it, they will be recorded, and you can have the recordings. If not, if you are a member of the club, then yeah, because I've got a members portal as well, then you get a bit of a discount, which is just part of being a member.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. Mark?
Thank you, Rich. It's not an event, but it's something that we're trying to share around at the moment. Tail end of last year, myself and Louise dedicated a certain area of the space, which is on the top floor here, to startups and small businesses just starting out in their journey. We opened up a community interest company so that we could gather some grant funding for it. And effectively what it does, it pays for a startup or a young company to come and utilize the community workspace here for 6 months absolutely free. It gives them all of the benefits that the space brings. They can access it any time that we're open. And also the other benefit they get from it as well is that they get either myself or Louise's or the other users experience and frustrations and all the rest of it that a company goes through in its early days. It starts a bit of a sounding board for them. So we had 3 spaces available. One has already gone to a company called Hereford Eats, which has just started up. They're just in the process of forming. But we've still got another 2 spaces available, which we're starting to pull together a bit of a marketing plan for to get it out there, cautious of COVID, obviously. But the benefits that Hereford Eats already received from being in the space, the productivity and everything else that comes with it, of being able to get out from your homes. And I'm looking around all of the screens that I can see, and I'm guessing a lot of people are sitting in their houses at this present moment in time. Yeah, they're all shaking their heads. So coming into a space like this, especially for startups, and being able to go, look, this, what do you think of this, and talk to somebody else, really helps them. If anybody knows of anybody or any network or organization, Tom, I don't know whether or not there's something there with you guys. If somebody's looking to start up their own company, then head in our direction. Just give us an email.
Yeah, we'll pick up about this after, but if that's okay, we'll have a conversation because I think we could help some people there.
Yeah, Tom, drop us an email. We'll arrange a proper time.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Rich.
Anyone else got anything? I can't see any more hands. No? Okay, well, thank you very much. We are going to be finishing early. I think that with the first time we'll finish early, but thank you again.
Sorry, I cut the short of the I didn't cut short, it just didn't take as long as what I thought it was going to.
Absolutely fine. Thank you again for your talk and being with us today. I'm sure that we've all benefited from it. Thank you to all the newcomers who've joined us for the first time, and obviously all our regulars. Thank you again for attending. We'll be back again in April for our next event. Speaker to be confirmed. I'm just trying to pin someone down at the moment, so fingers crossed. And in the meantime, please do connect with everyone else on LinkedIn and on our Facebook group. Don't forget to have a look for Bevs as well. And later on today, I should be sending over the links in the chat, and also the recording will be on our YouTube channel, hopefully by the end of the day. So that's it for this time. Have a good Easter, everyone, and we'll see you all soon. Goodbye.
Thanks very much.